Alright guys, Edge from Hitstone Gaming here. What you're going to be seeing is like the first 30 minutes or so of Tales of Berseria. Now, so this is like my Final Fantasy 15 rant. Now what these videos are, the 15 rant and this one, these are like first impressions. Some might be rants, some might not be. It depends on how I'm receiving the game at that moment. So this is my Tales of Berseria impressions. So you can kind of tell it's positive in this case. Well, this is my second Tales of game I've ever hopped into and started to enjoy and play. A little brief history of Tales of and me. When I was younger, I just couldn't get into it because I was so used to the the turn-based combat, and I just could not just get behind this combat that was weird to me. And like I played action games, but this was like a weird hybrid, and I couldn't get into it. Then I was older and could understand it, but I just played a Tales of game that was, it was just like the worst Tales of game I could have played, I guess, because like I was going through that phase where I didn't want characters such as whatever in this. I can't remember what Tales of game I played, but like you basically played as like a whiny kid, and like he might have been older. He might have been like upper teens, but he was still just a whiny kid, and I couldn't stand it. I want to go back and play that as well as many other Tales of games now though, because I can look past that stuff. I'm not going through the phase, right? Oh, just because the character's like this or the graphics are like this, I'm gonna hate it. That's super shallow, and as a gamer, I would hate to be that way. I was, but opening your eyes up to other things is really good. Now, if something is not your style, that is fully full on, yeah. But I don't think graphics should consider what is your style or not. But away from all that, so right now it's just a cutscene and everything, so you can't really see much about the game. And honestly, this gameplay probably won't have a lot of the combat in it. But let me get to my first impressions of Tales of Berseria and why I think this is an amazing game. As far as I think I am under halfway to the end point of the game. I might actually be halfway through the game. I'm not sure. I can kind of check. I might be halfway. I might not be. I don't know. So how? Let's just get into the combat. I love the combat in this game. You can fully customize your martial arts and hidden arts and all that to do the abilities you want in a combo and everything. You can freely swap between which combo you're doing, your triangle combo, your X combo, or even your square and circle. You don't even have to do forward triangle. You could do triangle, square, circle, X. It's cool. My issue though, when I was younger, that was something that made it hard for me. Like, I couldn't understand the basic, like, you only use one button for the combos and you have up combo, down combo, left, right combo. Like, I could not understand that stuff. So, to somebody who's younger trying to get into this game and having to deal with that combo system, this game's combat system or combo system, I think it would be really hard for them to get into unless they wanted to sit there and just pay attention to it. That isn't necessarily everybody. In fact, I can barely imagine many people wanting to do that. I did when Berseria came out. I was like, I'm going to finally just sit down and learn a Tales of game and play it. And that's what I did with Berseria. And it made me able to understand this game more. So combat is amazing. You can have 4 people on the field at the same time, and you can, though technically all 6 are fighting, you can swap between the other 2 who are in reserves freely between the character you're controlling or any of the party members. And the thing about you can control anybody in the party, so it's kind of, I want to say like the traditional JRPG where you have control over everybody. Sometimes you're not necessarily controlling them as you are in this game, like Final Fantasy 8, 7. You don't necessarily, you control their actions, but you don't control them how you do in this game. But you have full control over everybody in the party if you want. And this is an action combat system. Tales of has always been a pretty good pioneer in the action combat system, if I remember correctly to what people will say about it. It's a really good combat system. I don't know, because I haven't played many Tales of games. There's a mechanic that I've seen in the ones I have tried to play and played, the Soul system and the Blast Gauge system. I like how this game does it. I've heard some complaints about it, but I like how people have I like how it is, because I don't have a lot of the old games to go off of. This is the first Tales of game I've played that automatically has free movement, which is really nice. Kind of wish that's like a thing in all of them. I think the line movement was something that bugged me about the older Tales of games. Now I can get over that if I go back and play it now, though. So there's all that indirect elements to how the combat works. Enemies have different weaknesses that you can exploit. They have their elemental weaknesses. They also have type weaknesses. So you have like a Apodius. You have enemy types like your traditional elements, and then you'll have like armored Apodius, fiend, demi-human, person, and certain attacks do more against others and all that. And some enemies can just be very weak to martial arts or to hidden arts, stuff like that. Depending on the character you use, the combat style completely changes. Throughout most of the game, I just use Velvet, who you see her running around now. This is kind of like a flashback right now. When you actually play her, nothing like this. You can actually choose to play in this costume though, which I'm keeping it to the original costume. But this costume is really cool. It's like I'd say a modest and endearing, naive version of her. I think she was like 16 when this was going on. So it's kind of just like the naive youth. So that's, I feel like I've covered most of my things about the combat. Like, I like the innovations they've done and how it's used and everything. Going on to the story. If this game doesn't dump you right into the story and say, get on with it, I don't know what game does. From the first cutscene that we've already seen, I am hooked. This part was a little, I want to say it was a little meh, but like I loved playing this part and everything. It was amazing. I enjoyed it. I could not get over what I was doing. It was like, it might not have been seemingly that important. I understood this was setting up the story right here, but it didn't seem like super meh to me. I was actually having a lot of fun with it. So from that and moving on, sorry, excuse me. We had the like when you're actually in the present and you're meeting other people and everything, immediately the characters that I was introduced to within like the first 2 hours of the game were extremely interesting individuals that's like, I want to know more about this character, why they are, how they are, everything about that. The interactions between the characters with each other, I'm not going to say all the characters, but the ones I'll talk about, like I'll talk about Rokuro, Magilu, and Velvet. They have, just with each other, they have some very unique reactions and everything. It is easily one of the most enjoyable experiences watching how the characters interact with each other and everything. To further the plot with each other, you have the skit system, which you can see going on right now. This can give an individual character's thoughts to the situation, or even flesh out a relationship between two characters, or even more. It's really interesting to see how this goes, actually. I've heard complaints that the skits are a little long. I play in a When I play JRPGs, I kind of play them how I'm used to playing RPGs of old, where there is no voice acting. So I read the text and I skip. I read the text and I hit X. I read the text and I hit X. It's really hard for me to just listen to the whole thing, especially because I play in a different language. I'm learning Japanese, so I like to immerse myself in the language, try and catch the words I can recognize and everything. I'm not well off enough where I don't need subtitles, though. This is just me as an individual. But also, there's a thing called intended language, which, like, some people like this, some people don't. The game was made in Japan by Japanese people with Japanese voice actors, so the intended language is Japanese. That's what I would prefer to hear it in, also. I try and think around. No, I'm not a preferred the intended language guy. I'm not that way. Yeah, no, I am. I definitely prefer to hear it in the intended language when I actually want to stop and think about it. I do. And the thing is, Japanese people are just like this as well. Kingdom Hearts, most of the characters in Kingdom Hearts, the intended voice is American voice actors. Yeah, you got the Final Fantasy and the Sora crew. That's not, or Sora himself, Riku. Those are obviously intended Japanese, but let's look at all the other characters in Kingdom Hearts are Disney characters. That's why in Final Mix, Kingdom Hearts Final Mix, I might even say Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, they were only released with American voices, Japanese subtitles, even in Japan, because of the intended voices. It's not a thing that only a couple people here in America have. It is actually a major thing. So I don't have a problem with it. And honestly, I think the voices fit a bit better in Japanese. Now, I will be real. Maggie Lou is an amazing character, but God forbid her voice in Japanese is just it gets on my nerves, and it's hard for her voice to get on my nerves. Hers is just hey, these nails, this chalkboard, multiply that by 10, and multiply that by 10, and multiply that by 100, and that's what you got. And I was oh, Lord, you're such an amazing character, but why? But, that really is neither here nor there. The characters themselves, I went on a tangent right there. Characters themselves are very endearing in their own ways. Every character is unique in their personality. Their interactions with each other are amazing, because none of this stuff is actual life and everything. It's not like their life, but it's believable. If people like this got together and had to adventure, if 6 people like these people were adventuring together, I could see the crap that comes out of these people's mouths, their reactions towards each other. I can see that being real easily. So that's the combat, that's the interactions, our characters, story. I said it just hits right off the bat. It's still going strong even where I am. Where you can say some games hit the ground running but slow down. Some games start walking and then start into a full-blown sprint. This game has hit the ground running and it's still running, and I like that about the story. Gameplay, story, characters. My overall enjoyment of the game right off the bat is amazing. I keep enjoying it. I was splitting my playtime between this and another game, Resident Evil 7, which will be on my channel shortly. And I cannot complain. The games themselves were this game, I wish I could have played it more in the meantime, but now that I've been Resident Evil, I don't have to worry about 2 games. I can just play this game. So yeah, overall, amazing experience, amazing game. I still have yet to beat it. I won't be doing a review for this game. It's been a little too long since I gave since it's come out, and there's no point in reviewing a game weeks after it comes out. It's already gonna be over. Like, people who want to watch the review will have watched it. What I can say is I might do a final impressions when I beat the game. It's just gonna be me gushing about the game more. I guarantee you that. I can't think of anything else to talk about. I'd say let's just watch the rest of this in silence, but like, I'll be real, not much happens in this. So it's 20 more minutes of not much. A little bit of combat, but not much happens. So I think I'm gonna end it here. Well, with the first impressions, I feel like I have to say, like, do I recommend this off of my first impressions? Yes, I fully do. It's a $60 game. I like USD $60. I fully recommend it. I wish I bought a collector's edition or something because this game is amazing, and it's a great RPG experience. It shows that JRPGs can do character interactions and character fleshing out characters and everything. It shows that it's still possible, despite what some recent JRPGs might want you to think about character development isn't important or it's too hard to do. No. Story and character development are still very easy to do, and this game proves it. So, yeah, this is a very good JRPG that's much so worth the money. And I'm very happy with my purchase. Now, if you're on a budget and everything, wait for it to drop. But this game's totally worth $60. Easily. But, that being said, this is Edge from Hitstun Gaming. I'll talk to y'all another day. All of y'all have a wonderful day. If you like this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment below. Edge, signing out.